when I was setting up to do this review, I actually, out of the height of pure laziness, couldn't be bothered going to the box set to get the sleeve to check out the episode number. We're jumping into Transformers for this video. This is from the original series from 1984, and we're already in the playlist. We're 6 episodes into it. So far it's not a popular list. It's not really doing that well. A lot of people would say if videos aren't doing well you should stop doing them, but I'm a completist, and you know, just because it's not doing well now doesn't mean that it won't become more relevant in the future, let's say. You know, it's like all these old shows are, you know, have their moments of popularity. People get interested in coming back and hearing about them again. So we're just going to throw a little bit of nostalgia into the videos for a while. Like, we've been doing that with Laurel and Hardy, so why not with the Transformers? So let's get into the original review here. This is episode 7. I'm just looking at my notes here because in the box set it has all the episodes listed. There's no numbers on them, but when I was setting up to do this review, I actually, out of the height of pure laziness, couldn't be bothered going to the box set to get the sleeve to check out the episode number. So I went on to the internet and looked it up on IMDb, and for some weird reason IMDb's listings, it's usually a great place to go to find out this kind of information, but on IMDb season 1 of Transformers they have messed up the episodes sequence. So I got hold of the original sleeve here, the little bit that comes inside. Of course there's Optimus Prime right there. Right, so we're into episode 7 now. This is Fire in the Sky, and this is the episode that introduces you to Jetfire, or Skyfire as he's known in the cartoon, but more popular. It's a weird situation of this character in Transformers history. There was questions on who owned the design for Jetfire, so he had to be called Skyfire in the cartoon, and they were forced to only use the character if they really needed him. So right now, off the top of my head, I can't recall if they actually did bring Skyfire back for season 2, but he comes in and out of season 1 throughout the last handful of episodes from episode 7 on. Basically, in this episode, the Decepticons tap into the energy of a crystal shaft leading to the Earth's core in the Arctic, and that causes the planet to freeze over. If we open up the episode, the Autobots are having a snowball fight with Spike, and they're all having fun until one of the Transformers bounces into this mound of snow, and you can see a cactus and below it, and it's just like they're in the middle of the desert having a snowball fight. Unheard of. So yes, in the Autobot headquarters, Optimus Prime's watching everything in the monitor, and he's like, something's not right here. The planet could be in real risk of being doomed, as a lot of the Transformers cartoons are. Please excuse the noise outside the studio. So yeah, the planet's starting to freeze over because of the Decepticons' mining operation in the Arctic. During that, they unearth Skyfire. So they start digging him out. In this episode, probably one of the only episodes in the original run of Transformers, you get to see a softer side to Starscream. He had known Skyfire from before the Autobot Decepticon war. There were explorers on Cybertron, and they were out exploring different planets, and they went down on the Earth millions of years ago, and there was an Arctic wind that came up. The two of them were knocked off course. Skyfire crash lands on Earth millions of years ago, disappears completely in the ice, and yes, you see this real concern out of Starscream that's very uncharacteristic of Starscream. So they get him operational, fill him in on what's going on, and they kind of twist his mind into the joining the Decepticon cause. So whenever the Autobots actually show up at the Arctic to find out what the problems are, the first thing they're confronted with is Skyfire. He's giant, he's huge compared to all the Transformers, most of the Transformers. So they're facing off of him. During the battle, Spike and Sparkplug get stranded on a piece of ice, and they're screaming for help. And Skyfire, he's not a fighter. He doesn't want to hurt people. He's a scientist, and you know, things just don't sit right with him in this battle. And whenever he hears these two humans screaming for help, he turns, goes over, lifts them up in his hand, and there's a back and forth between them about, you know, Skyfire is like, I have to fight the evil Autobots, and like Spike is like, no, the Autobots aren't evil, the Decepticons are the evil ones, the Autobots are actually trying to help planet Earth. So Skyfire decides, okay, I'll take you to my leader Megatron, he can explain everything. So off he goes, and that's when Starscream and the other Decepticons start showing their true nature. As like, you know, don't be questioning our orders, do what you're supposed to do, blah blah blah. Once these humans have served their usefulness, they'll be destroyed, all this sort of stuff. Skyfire's back and forth in his own head. I can't be a part of this sort of thing. Eventually Autobots are captured by the Decepticons. Starscream tries to force Skyfire to execute the prisoners. And when Skyfire refuses, Starscream 100% shows his true nature, blasts Skyfire, and then turns his weapon on the prisoners, destroying them completely. He walks off and he's like, you know, you're lucky, pretty much you're lucky that we're friends, or you'd be facing the same fate as these. And off he goes, at which moment the destroyed remains of the Autobots disappears, and the actual real Autobots are sitting there. That's one of Hound's illusions to fool Starscream into thinking that he actually destroyed them. So the Autobots set to repairing Skyfire. So basically, by the end of the episode, the Autobots, you know, it's a typical thing of the Transformers in seasons 1 and 2. Brilliant, I love these seasons. But it was a long time since I've seen them. It's a good versus evil thing. So evil does soften at the beginning. The good turns up and has to repair the damage. So by the end of the episode, the Autobots have basically got everything sorted out apart from Starscream and Skyfire are going at each other. It's like the Obi-Wan Anakin Skywalker story, essentially. It's just like, you know, best friends at war with each other. So they're transformed. Jetfire is a giant jet, of course, Skyfire, sorry, and they're having a dogfight, him and Starscream, in the air. And by the end of the episode, Starscream has had his backside handed to him. what has to happen is the crystal shaft needs to be not destroyed but covered over to stop the planet freezing over. And during the fight, Skyfire loses control, but he's also trying to cave in a lot of snow over the top of this thing to help save the planet. So while he's taking a shot at doing that, he's also out of control, crash landing. So he starts, he blows out a mountain and it starts to rain snow down on top of this thing, and he crashes on the bottom just as this avalanche is coming in across. He gets buried once again at the end of the episode, and it pretty much closes out with, you know, Skyfire's lost, the Autobots are all heartbroken, and Optimus Prime is having a big moment where he's like, you know, we'll never forget him. And that's where it closes out the episode. So that introduction to Skyfire, I thought to myself, maybe they're just going to use him for the one episode, they're just going to give him a hero's moment, let the character go again. As I said at the start, there was a big issue over who actually owned the design of the character, and this was their way of introducing him, but kind of writing him out at the same time in this episode. I think that's what they were trying to do anyway. But he does indeed come back later in the series, but I can't recall if we have him in season 2 or not. It's a weird setup for the original run of Transformers. It was the Takara company originally owned them, and Hasbro bought them over, brought out the series to promote the toys in America. So, you know, some of the designs were actually in other shows pre-Transformers. So of course Skyfire showing up, or Jetfire showing up, or whatever you want to call him. He's more commonly known as Jetfire these days, but Skyfire is his name in this series. You know, that's a weird ownership thing, copyright, all that good stuff. And yes, very good episode. Probably didn't do it justice in this review, but this series is well worth checking out. I haven't been well this week. I'm getting over a bit of the flu, so I sat Saturday evening past and I actually watched like 10 episodes in a row. Absolutely love Transformers. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please hit that subscription button and don't forget to press that bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Please get into the description box below this video and check out my social media links down there. Check out all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.